it's almost like I would sell my soul to be able to experience that for the first time again. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. We are in the same chair, but we are just at a different angle. My name is Hannah. This is HM Bookish, and today we are talking about books or series that I wish I could read again for the first time. A couple things about me. I'm a big mood reader, but I'm also what I consider a dummy reader, okay? Meaning that I'm gonna forget everything I just read. I literally will. I have read the ACOTAR series probably, I think I've read it 3 times now. Something like that. Because I'm crazy, 1, but 2, literally the majority of those books gone from my brain. I've also been told, or I've read somewhere, that if you like to reread books or rewatch shows that you've seen a million times, like Gilmore Girls, Vampire Diaries, that could be a symptom of ADHD. And though I have not been diagnosed with anything, that doesn't mean something's not wrong. But anyways, on to the actual point of this video. There are about a million books or series that I wish I could reread again for the first time because they either shaped me as a person or they altered my brain chemistry so viscerally that genuinely cannot compute after that. This first series is one that I don't even remember when I first read this series. I want to say I was in high school, but I could have been no, I think I was in high school. It's the Vampire Academy series, and you can't see it, but I have the whole series right there. I'm literally probably one of the biggest advocates for this series. I think it is immaculate, perfect, wonderful, amazing. I cannot speak highly enough about the Vampire Academy series by Richelle Mead. It is perfection. I think it was one of those series that literally, when I read it, kind of changed me as a reader, but also it was such this immersive world that there was a spin-off series, and I just became so ingrained in this show. And so every single adaptation that they have made outside of the books, the movie, and the show, I've been obsessed with. Have they been perfect adaptations? No. But I love those characters so much that I didn't even care. You have no idea what series I'm talking about? That's okay. I get it. This series has been done for a hot minute, a while, but it's like Vampire Boarding School. And I was really engrossed in the vampire community when I was younger. Okay, I was prime for, Vampire Diaries, Vampire Academy, Twilight, the Blue Bloods book series, if you know, you know. Literally, vampire books were my bread and butter. All right, jumping into the next one. I think that this series kind of kickstarted my sports romance interest. I had never really read a sports romance before, I don't think, but the off-campus series, specifically this book, got me really into sports romance. And then I'm reading all the things, all the sports romance, all the things. I'm obsessed. And this book series was just really, I don't know what it was. It wasn't the sport. I can tell you that. It was not the sport. I couldn't care less about the sport. However, I do now possess the need to go to a hockey game, and I live south of Houston. We no longer have a hockey team. I'm actually going to Dallas during spring break, but they're not playing. So when I tell you this has sparked an interest, it has. On the topic of sports romance, I'm going to squirrel moment for a second. I have got it in my head that I can write a book. Who told me this? Nobody. Delulu energy, 100%. But I've decided I can write a book, okay? And I do plan on trying to write a book. I want to write a sports romance, specifically a college rugby sports romance. Can you guess who inspired me to write this book? Queen Alona Mar, okay? She was on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm not a big watcher of Dancing with the Stars, but I watched it for her. I'm all over the internet. Alona Mar's queen. And I've decided I'm going to write a sports romance inspired by her. Specifically her in that interview where she was like, I don't have imposter syndrome. You're allowed to be proud of your accomplishments and your hard work. I swear, you can hear my dog in the background. So the next book that I want to talk about is Happy Place by Emily Henry. That book altered my brain. it had such like complexities in terms of adult friendship. And I was at a place when I read it where like the adult friendship aspect of my life was, it was just a lot. It was a lot going on. And I really, really loved Happy Place. There's a lot of strong feelings about Happy Place, and I don't know why because it's phenomenal. But I sobbed when I read that book. I literally sobbed. And honestly, I'm a big Emily Henry stan. Like anything she writes, I'm down for. I know it's going to destroy me and put me back together, exactly like Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez, I would argue, just for the summer, same equation to destroy my life and put it back together. So both of those books, Happy Place and Just for the Summer, I wish I could read for the first time again. Now, I would love to say that ACOTAR was one of those book series that I wish I could read for the first time again, because that was the first introduction to SJM that I ever had. To be honest, I was a hardcore hater of the premise of the first ACOTAR book, just like on hearing what it was about. I was like, this is not going to be my jam. Even though like I did grow up a fantasy girly, like that genre was my jam. I was just not into it. And then one day I picked up that audiobook on my phone, picked up one day I started listening to that audiobook on my phone and like was hooked on the whole series. I love ACOTAR, okay? That is not a question. But the true SJM series that I wish, like with everything in me that I could read for the first time again, and I know that the majority of you SJM people are going to agree with me, Throne of Glass. If I could read that series again, oh my god. It my sister can attest that while reading Kingdom of Ash, for the last 3 hours of that book that I was reading, I was on and off sobbing. Um and I still, there's this popular TikTok like clip of when they're playing the song of Ilway and the song of, the orchestra's playing all the different songs from all the different countries, and I sob every time that TikTok sound comes up, like every single time. That series literally is like how I feel about Vampire Academy is how I feel about Throne of Glass. It is beautifully written, shockingly written so well when she was so young. I'm literally obsessed. I actually think that my next video is going to be my complete SJM ranking because I have read all 3 series by this point, and I do have definitive, maybe not so definitive. I have lower ranking books, and I have one that's absolutely 100% the top of the tier, which probably most people would agree with. But I think I'm going to do that next. All right, we're throwing it back to Hannah in middle school again. High school? Middle school. No, it was intermediate school because I read this book in 8th grade. The Hunger Games. I actually just got this beautiful new copy of The Hunger Games. I wanted the whole series, but it was a little expensive. So we're going to stick with one for now. I'm actually building a banned bookshelf in my office. So we're working on that. I just needed this. I needed it. I did not think this series would be as prevalent in 2025 as it is, but here we are. This book series was my first like tiptoe into like a dystopian fiction. Obviously like we have The Giver, but we didn't read that till high school, or at least I didn't read that till high school, and like Fahrenheit 451 and all that stuff. But this book series was like my first dip in there, and then Divergent and The Maze Runner and all of those, golden era, I think, books. They were phenomenal around that time and still are. Like I didn't reread this. I started to reread this after a testing day in my classroom a couple years ago, and I am still obsessed. Like it's so good. All right, the next thing is going to be kind of lame because I'm literally wearing book merch that I made for my Etsy shop for this book, Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing literally is like everything I loved about the Vampire Academy and the Hunger Games, but in an adult form of content. And like I know the bros, the dads, the chads, they're like dragons, whatever. I love dragons. I loved them on Game of Thrones. Okay, I loved them in How to Train Your Dragon. I loved Dragon Tales. Those were my things. So this was like the perfect equation for a book series that I'm going to love. And I actually have reread Fourth Wing. I think I've reread it 3 times since it's come out, and I've read Iron Flame twice. I've only read Onyx Storm once because it just came out. But that series I think is spectacular. Obviously it's not finished yet, so there is room for things to go downhill. But I said I wasn't going to put ACOTAR as one of them, and I'm not going to put the whole series. But A Court of Silver Flames, I wish I could read for the first time again. And let me tell you why. Is it the best book in the ACOTAR series? I don't think so, because I think that that's ACOMAF. But this book, the character of Nesta is my favorite character, but her character arc throughout this book, I think, and throughout all of the books, but it really comes to a head in this book, and I think that's the reason I want to read it for the first time again, because I love Nesta. Like, since book 1, like, obviously she was a lot, but I knew, like, I could tell right away that she was going to be one that's going to, have her moment and have her arc, and I think it was so well done. And, like, just like with the Throne of Glass, there's a TikTok sound of her where she's like, "I am nothing." And, like, it's when she's, like, breaking down with Cassie and, like, when they're on their little silent walk or whatever, and she's, like, breaking down, and that just, like, hits you. And then you have that one where it's Feyre talking about Nesta. All of these are obviously inspired by TikTok sounds, that's crazy. Where she's like, "Nesta is different than everybody else." And I've also heard that, like, you either resonate with her or you are like, or you don't like her or you resonate with her, like you are her. And I have loved Nesta since the beginning. So though I do not think the whole ACOTAR series I would reread for the first time again, like ACOTAR itself, but Court of Silver Flames, I wish you could just, like, erase Men in Black style, erase my memory so that I can read this book again. All right. I want to talk about 2 more books. The first one being The Love Hypothesis by Elle Hazelwood. This I did pick up as a Raylo book. Don't judge me. Here I am telling you the truth. I picked it up because it was a Raylo book, or at least that's what the internet said. And what I got in return was a beautiful love story about 2 scientists. And I think one of the main reasons I want to reread it again for the first time is because I just finished Deep End a few weeks ago, and we got to see them again. So I love this series. I think not this series. I love this book. I do love the Jimenez series, but I think this one is probably, out of that series, my favorite one. I just loved that introduction to that kind of science world, but they're still fumbling and being crazy through their, like, personal relationships. Oops, I almost dropped that. Last up is a book that I read last year that I had no expectations going into it, and it ended up being one of my favorite books of the year. And that was The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston or Poston. That book feels like the movie Just Like Heaven with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Ruffalo. If you haven't watched Just Like Heaven, then you don't get it. But basically, this book is reversed, but, like, this girl is seeing this guy that she met, like, one time. He's like an editor or something, and he's a ghost, but you find out he's not a ghost. Sorry for the spoiler. You find out he's not a ghost. He's just, like, in a coma. So because when I was reading it, I said, I swear to you, if this book does not end with a happy ending, I'm gonna riot and I'm gonna throw the book. But it does end happily, and I just, like, I don't know, it read like a movie to me, and I think that's why I would love to read it again for the first time, because when I can, like, visualize like that, I'm hooked. And then that spiraled me into reading, like, every book she has out right now, and I love them all. They're like a reality mixed with, like, tinges of magic, like, just enough to be magical but not to be like a fantasy situation. So anyways, up close and personal, those are just some of the books that I wish I could read again for the first time. Tell me what book you would read again for the first time. Like, what is your absolute number one book that you wish you could just, like, forget and then the next morning wake up and read it? Because I want to know, one, do we have similar interests? Are any of these books on this list that I just made? Or two, do I need to be reading this book that you love so much? If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I am still new to this. I'm still cringing at myself in the camera while I'm editing videos and when I'm recording videos. And I can't cut out my dogs barking in the background, but I'm having a good time. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. Don't be mean, but have a great day.